Okay, so I am teaching Celeste how to make porcupines. I also had the red hat idea that I will add in it just a little bit. I had the red hat idea about talking about traditions since this is one of my family traditions, and it's Christmas time, and there's usually like a ton of traditions that's going on, and everyone has their own family traditions. And so, what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to go through here, is I'm going to have Celeste come over into my apartment, which I'm assuming since it's a new environment and I'm going to have my roommate's boyfriend helping out. She probably is going to have a little bit of state anxiety just because she doesn't know the environment. She won't know everyone. Um, and so just she may have a little bit of state anxiety just because of all of that. But I'm not too worried about Celeste because I also know she has a high self efficacy and a high self esteem. And so when she'll come in, she'll probably at first be a little bit shy, but then open up as we all start interacting a little bit more. Um, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be willing to face challenges head on. But I'm not really expecting all of that to really happen until after we've talked about traditions. But I'm also hoping this will show a little bit more as we start making the treats and listening to Christmas music and everything. However, I did say she can bring a friend or two. And this could go one of two ways. Either I know they'll have more state anxiety than Celeste, and I think that's because if it's a friend, she'll have no idea who they are. Or they'll have no idea what's going on or like what's really like they do. They're not used to these lessons. Meanwhile, Celeste has grown up going with these lessons, and so she'll probably be a little more comfortable and she'll be like, oh yeah, this is normal. But this could go either one of two ways. Either Celeste's um, feelings could project onto her friends and they could feel a little bit more comfortable, which I'm hoping is going to be the case. Um, but if Celeste brings friends rather than siblings, their state anxiety could be projected onto Celeste because they don't know anything about these lessons. They've never really done these lessons before, and so it'll be something new for them to experience. Um, so hopefully it goes one way rather than the other, but we'll see. It's totally fine either way. I was also told kind of right off the bat that there's some misconceptions about my porcupines. They think we're making ornaments instead of a treat. Um, and so I'm hoping they won't be too disappointed when they realize that we're making treats instead of ornaments. But it's caramel and marshmallows and Rice Krispies. Who doesn't like that? I'm also going to I'm going to start the whole lesson by talking about traditions, and I'll ask them what their definition of traditions is, what they think traditions are, why they think traditions are important. I was also forewarned that they may not have the best concept of traditions, and I'm hopefully going to be able to change that misconception for them as well, and help them realize how important traditions are. I also plan on kind of reinforcing the idea of traditions after the lesson. Part of me, if Netflix still has it, I'm gonna pull up Coco and probably play the end scene. I need to find that scene, but I'm gonna play a scene from Coco, that they can watch for a little bit, and hopefully they can realize that traditions are a big thing for families. They're important, keep families bonded. Um, so that's gonna be great. I'm hoping that'll work. Um, After then, I'm gonna plan on giving Celeste and whoever else she brings into my apartment some direct instruction. So I'll briefly show them how to make everything and how we'll make the caramel, how we'll dip the caramel into the or dip the marshmallows into the caramel, and how we'll roll the marshmallows in Rice Krispies. Um, so I'm gonna give that all to them before and kind of briefly show them how to do all of that. And then as we continue to go on, I'm going to ask them if they can remember what we're supposed to do next, just to see if they retained any of the information that I gave them about how to make the treats. And if they don't, that's fine. I don't really expect them to, but it's really more for me to assess to see where or what they retained, what deteriorated from their mind, just as time has passed and as we listen to Christmas music. Um, so yeah. Then we'll make the caramel, which may take a little bit because we have to heat up the sweetened condensed milk and make sure it doesn't boil, and we have to mix little teeny like caramel candies into it, and it takes them a while to actually melt. So she may get frustrated with that, which will be interesting to see if she gets frustrated with it or not. I'm wondering if that'll cause her almost debilitating anxiety, and she'll turn to me to ask me, maybe not debilitating anxiety, but like learned helplessness. And she'll turn to me and ask me to help her with that, because it does, when I tried it out, it does get frustrating and it is a long time. But we'll see how that goes. Something that I know will come into play is psychomotor domain. So when you're dipping the marshmallows into the caramel, it's on this small little toothpick. And it sometimes the caramel is a little heavy and it gets heavier as you're trying to like lift your marshmallow, and you have to hold the marshmallow for a little bit so like extra caramel can come off, so then the caramel doesn't spread all over the place when you're putting it on our mat. Sometimes when that happens, the marshmallow falls off, and so that'll totally, she'll have to find the best motive or motor function to try and find a way to like make sure it doesn't fall off, which I also think will also bring in the use of cognitive domain, because it's also her becoming creative and finding different ways to like make sure the marshmallow doesn't fall. And I'm gonna let her know that she can use as many toothpicks as she wants, which will be great. One thing I am worried about, I do know I am very prone to being kind of like, let me do this for you. So I am worried about me interfering with them learning and becoming concerned that they aren't doing something the right way, especially when it comes to mixing the caramel, and then I may become impatient and suddenly interfere with them of how they should mix it. But hopefully me interfering won't happen. I'm going to try and refrain myself so then they can learn themselves. If they ask for help, of course, I'd love to help, but that's it. I also know I will be experiencing facilitating anxiety. You even saw my commercial. I was so scared of them saying no to my activity that I had to make sure my commercial was great. And so I'm actually also very concerned with them being bored and not having fun, especially since they have this misconception right off the bat. And so I'm just going to try and make sure we're going to have as much fun as possible, which shouldn't be too hard because I've always babysat in the past. There is a chance that we are going to run out of caramel, and I'm going to test to see how well she can retrieve the information of how to make the caramel. I'm also hoping that she could either store it, and if she does have deterioration, that'll be fine. So we're going to test her on those steps as well.